You from New Jersey?
But I guess before we did go, I did, like I talked about at the top, want to get into kind of in honor of Martin Luther King Day, which was yesterday, get into some kind of New Jersey historic civil rights kind of places, civil rights era, civil rights themed, including a Martin Luther King themed Jersey landmark. And again, hopefully when, coronavirus is over and me and Rich are all vaxxed up, and hopefully just along the next couple months, we will be taking the show on the road and going on location and doing stuff from some of these places. So in a perfect world, me and Rich would be visiting one of these places for the show and doing stuff for our YouTube page and all that. But I guess we'll have to wait a couple months. But like I was saying, though, even Martin Luther King himself has a connection to New Jersey, as was in the news a couple years ago. I'm not actually sure of the developments. I probably should have looked it up before coming into the show, but I'm a no genius of New Jersey. But there was the Martin Luther King house in Camden, which he apparently lived at while he attended college in Philadelphia, or attended some schooling in Philadelphia, and lived at a house in Camden where he actually at one point was like refused a soda pop from a local racist bastard in Camden, and staged like his first ever sit-in, or like one of the early Martin Luther King civil rights protests in his life took place in Camden. And he lived at a house in Camden that was trying, like the historical I think the owners of Camden, the owners of the house, rather, were trying to get the historical society to take it over because they didn't want to fucking pay for the renovations and all that like that. So somebody's going to buy it and tear it down, or the state it was going to step in and historically landmark it and like turn it into some type of Martin Luther King, something or other. I mean, I got to be honest, New Jersey has some other civil rights heroes. I feel like as much as we all love Dr. Martin Luther King, is it a little bit too loose of a connection that he maybe lived there for a couple years in college? Like, we're going to fucking make this house a museum because he lived there for a couple of years? Like, if he had a little bit, like, he's so synonymous with the South and, Alabama and,
Maybe if he was born there or something.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, if he grew up there. And also the, town is denies that there's no records of him living there in the town. Camden claims he lived on campus at the school, and like other historic accounts. So it's already like a pretty loose claim that he did or did not live there. But
he banged some chick that lived there. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
That's 100% what happened. And then the morning after banging some chick, he tried to get a soda pop around the corner. They weren't having it, and he's fucking. Yeah. But so you're right though. That's a little bit flimsy, but definitely something to check out. Though a very solid one though, very solid civil rights figure from New Jersey though is the Thomas Mundy Peterson house in New Jersey. Thomas Mundy Peterson being the first African American to legally vote after the Civil War.
And have three names.
Yeah, and have the most regal-sounding name of any fucking...
Really? He was the first? Oh.
But yeah, the first...
Where did he vote? Democrat or Republican?
Yeah, seriously. He voted for Trump, ironically.
It's funny, he's still voting Democrat.
All these years later, but his house is a landmarked museum and historically landmarked place.
Where's that at?
You know what? I'm not exactly sure. Again, I didn't really do all of my research.
We don't do a lot of research here on New Jersey.
I mean, if we're not going to be going there, I didn't need to fucking a GPS where the fuck it was. You know what I mean?
I didn't get to take the tour.
All right, I know where this next one is because I've been there. I might have been buying 40s around the corner, but I've seen it.
Right, exactly. Go ahead.
I've been to Patterson at Hinchcliffe Stadium, which is the last Negro Leagues stadium, which is still up in America and it's actually been sitting barren for a long time. The state has not done anything with it, or the city has not done anything, and it's actually in a really cool part of Patterson. It's right by the falls, the historic falls in Patterson, and quote unquote historic Patterson. So it's in you can bang out the waterfalls and Hinchcliffe Stadium in the same trip.
Go during the day.
Exactly. Still, I'd recommend a fucking
a guy that might have, a black guy.
Yeah, exactly. But that is a real cool civil rights site, and that is definitely something. It's such a huge, area that you can't necessarily turn it into a museum, or you can't really open it full time to just do tours. You also can't necessarily turn it into something, like an active venue. But they need to figure out something to do with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
As well,
Make
I
it a
think there might be
ballpark.
some Larry Doby. Larry Doby was actually went to Eastville High School and was like a Patterson guy. But Larry Doby was like the second ever black baseball player in the Major League Baseball player. Jackie Robinson obviously was first. Larry Doby for the Indians was second, and he's a Patterson guy. And I think when he actually was in the Negro Leagues, he played for the Newark team. So I think they won champions, Larry Doby, with the Newark Negro League team. But I think there might be like a Larry Doby something or another in Patterson. But they should get Hinchcliffe Stadium and Larry Doby as like a Negro Leagues monument. There was also a Negro Leagues team in Newark. So get a whole Negro League era thing going at least the box office at Hinchcliffe Stadium. But they need to do something because it's such a cool place. And, like I said, with its proximity to the falls, it can be like a real, can be like a nice revitalization point for Patterson anyway. But a couple other ones.
Open a burger joint.
I mean, yeah, if you want to get people from New Jersey there, I guess a hot dog stand would be a good place. Can Johnny and Hangees open up their like a stand over by closer to Hinchcliffe Stadium? But I guess there are a couple other, the first black country club in America was the Shady Rest Country Club in Scotch Plains, the first all-black country club. As well, that there was like the history because Atlantic City was like the early 20s and 30s was like a booming black entertainment area, and there was actually up until the Civil Rights Act got passed in 1964, there was actually the all-black beach still active in Atlantic City. Which, do you know what it's called as well? This isn't me giving it.
God only knows.
Yeah, exactly. And just the hilarious racism that's in my DNA as a New Jersey resident.
Right.
But they literally call this fucking thing Chicken Bone Beach because of all of the chicken bones that got left in the sand from all of. But that was the black only beach that remained a black only beach until like the mid '60s in New Jersey when the Civil Rights Act made discrimination and any venues
Chicken
illegal.
Bone Beach.
But in Atlantic City, there's still like a Chicken Bone Beach monument and everything like that. Like I remember learning about Chicken Bone Beach years and years ago, and then visiting Atlantic City, and they've got a whole thing and a whole part of the history about Atlantic City being like the black
Chicken Bone Beach.
Yeah, I think the blacks gave it the name. To be perfectly honest, at least that's what the racist idiots in Atlantic City claim.
Right.
The guy that obviously gave it the name
They wanted
is now
to call it that themselves.
Yeah, but as well, there are a couple
I can just
other.
imagine what the first name was.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to repeat what the locals actually called it,
Right.
but the Chicken Bone Beach is the nicest thing that we're going to put.
Exactly.
But that is a cool part, and a real cool part of the Atlantic City. Like there was a part in the early 1900s where Atlantic City was like one of the vying to be one of like the summer destinations across the whole eastern seaboard, and especially for African Americans of the time, it was like a huge epicenter for black entertainment. There was not like a other area, like a really well-known black vacation area on the eastern seaboard. Atlantic City was like the biggest and best. And
then white people fucked it up.
Yeah, it's been kind of fucked up ever since. I gotta be honest. But yeah, no, Atlantic City, Liz, we've talked a lot about. They've tried the not during the '80s boom, but as of recent years, they're really trying to do a lot more things. They opened up that outlet mall, which helps us bring some commerce outside of the casinos. But they're trying to open up some outside casino entertainment in Atlantic City, and they've actually done a real good job with some of that. So a Chicken Bone Beach, a further Chicken Bone Beach monument would fucking help, though. But
that's hilarious.
I guess a couple other, really significant ones, though. There's a great museum in Jersey City that I've been to. The Afro-American Historical Society Museum has got some really cool stuff and some mock living quarters from the different eras and whatnot in Jersey, you know what I mean, where like the African American areas in Jersey would be, replica, living quarters and all that kind of stuff. As well in Jersey City, there's an Underground Railroad stop, and there's a couple throughout New Jersey Underground Railroad stops, historically landmark. So a rich collection of civil rights and equality, pursuit of equality-based landmarks in New Jersey. As well, New Jersey, I learned, was the first state to pass the Law Against Discrimination Act, with promoting equality in the workplace. Jersey was the first. They were also the first state to break that law by not following it. But they were the first people to enact it. But so a rich history of, civil rights and pursuit of equality in New Jersey. Although, like me and Rich said, that's not you never hear about that in the on the Sopranos episodes. Yeah. But it's part of our history.
Go back to Jersey, you moron!